going to be doing a great craft that you can just make for gifts, or you can actually make these to sell as well. They're super fun to make. And so we're going to go through step by step on how to make a motorcycle baby diaper cake. So I'm going to kind of go through the list of some of what you're going to need. You're going to need a stuffed animal to put onto the actual little motorcycle. I did actually get this from the Dollar Tree. He is super cute. He was $5. You're going to need a sippy cup, a few pacifiers. You're going to need some socks. You're also going to want to have some scotch tape. You also need rubber bands. I have little tiny rubber bands and I have large rubber bands. You're also going to need some ribbon. And last, you're going to need some diapers. Now, we may put a couple other things in there, but we'll kind of go through that as we go along. Oh, you're going to need receiving blankets. The biggest thing, of course, is going to be the diapers. And you're going to need something round to put your diapers in. It just helps to get the shape that you want. You can use anything that has about an inch or two height on it so that you can get your diapers in there. So you can use cake pans. You can actually use cardboard that you just tape together. You can use frying pans, whatever you have around that is about the size that you want to do. Okay, so I have two different sizes here. I have an 8-inch and a 10-inch. So this is a spring form pan. This is just a regular pan. I'm going to be using the 8-inch, but you can use the 10-inch. So I just wanted to kind of show you an example. So this is the one that we're going to be using. I picked size 2 diapers. Now you can use any size you want, but remember, the smaller the diaper, the more you're going to need. So I generally try to find diapers that don't have a lot of pattern on them, just because I think they look nicer, but you don't have to do that. It is definitely not a requirement. So how you're going to do this is you're going to take your pan and you're going to take your diapers and you're going to put them in around the edge, just like this, and you're going to stagger them. All right, so that you can get that round shape. So you can see how I have them staggered. You're just going to do this all the way around. You can push them together more if you need to make it smaller. And you want to make sure they're all going in the same direction. So you can see how it will start to come around. You want to make sure you leave a space in the center. You want it to be pretty tight and pretty consistent around. You can kind of move them to get them more consistent. you can see we have the shape of a wheel. You're going to take a rubber band. You're going to put it around the diapers. I just like to kind of flip it over and plop it out. Okay. Then you should have a little time to kind of get them straight. So if you have any big gaps, you can work on fixing that. You can also add some more in if you need to. There we go. And I'm going to take some yarn and I am going to put little spokes on here for the wheel. This is going to help tighten it as well. I'm going to take a weaving needle, my yarn through it, and then this gives me an easy way to go in. Okay, I'm going to tie it to start it. And pull it around. Okay. Okay, once you get around to where your beginning piece is, okay, cut off your yarn, tie it to where you started. Make sure it's tight. Okay. This is going to give it the look of a wheel. Okay. If you need to, you can still adjust anything that you need to. Okay. You do want to have some space in the middle, but we will kind of tighten that up a little bit. Okay, so you're going to want to make 3 of these. Okay, so once I have the 3 wheels made, then I will start on working on the next part. Okay, so I'm going to take my receiving blanket and I'm going to roll it tightly. Okay, I'm going to put a rubber band around it. One around the center. I'm going to take a wheel. I'm going to put the receiving blanket right through the center till I get to that middle rubber band. Pull it back on the sides. And then you take these 2, you're going to put the wheels in. Okay, just like that. So that's how that's going to work. I'm going to take some ribbon and I'm going to wrap it around the wheels. Just give them a nice finished look. Take some Scotch tape. Tape it on. Now you're going to take a couple of diapers and you're going to roll them up very tightly, just like this. This is where I use my smaller rubber bands. You're going to do 4 twice. So you're going to need 8 total of the rolled diapers. You can also make a couple extra rolled diapers because we might be using them later on, but you want to take the 2 sets of 4 and you want to put them together. So just line them up with a rubber band, something nice and tight. Get them all going in the same direction. Once you have them all together in a line, then you're going to take some ribbon and you're going to put the ribbon around it and just make it nice and neat. One is going to be in between the tires to give a separation. The other one is going to be in between the front tire and the 2 rear tires in order to give a seat. So you need these in order for your motorcycle to come out looking more like a motorcycle. So you're just going to use some Scotch tape. You could also use washi tape to put the ribbon down onto the diapers and get them all into a nice line. So get them all straight and ready to put in between the rows. The next thing you're going to need to do is take your receiving blanket that we put the 3 rubber bands on. You're going to put it through the first wheel, and then you can take one of those extra diapers that you rolled and you can put it in with the receiving blanket. And what that's going to do is that's going to tighten it. The next thing you're going to do is you're going to add on the first set of the 4 diapers that you put together with the ribbon. Next, you're going to take some paper clips. Any paper clips will do. And you can use the paper clips to actually tack the 2 pieces together. So the wheel and the seat. And so I do this to keep everything just kind of up where I need it while I'm fitting everything together. You can leave these in or you can take them out, but they're an important step to make sure you can get everything together. And when you're making these diaper cakes, you really want to use things that aren't going to cause any damage to the diaper so that people can actually use them again. Once you have it in place, you're going to take your 2 back wheels, pick the side that looks the best for the outside. Make sure everything's straight, and then you're going to put the receiving blanket in from the outside through the 2 wheels. Just kind of stick it in there until you get to the center. And remember, we're making that second set of diapers with the 4 just to put in between the 2 tires in the back. So that's going to give us the separation that we need in order to make it look like a motorcycle, because a motorcycle is going to have the 2 wheels that are separated. So you can do the same thing that we did in the front. You can use the paper clips just to clip them on. And what I kind of did here is I kind of used some of the yarn to actually clip that little piece in the back. Now, these are temporary because once you get all of the back pieces together, you're going to put a rubber band around the seat, the 2 wheels, and the separator. So once you do that, then it's going to hold everything together. So here, I'm just making sure everything's in line. Everything is going to be nice and tight. And then I'm going to put in that separator. I'm going to tack that down. And then we'll move on to the next step. So once I'm really happy with the way everything is fitting together, then I'm going to move on to the next step, which is going to include your next receiving blanket. So I'm just using a fleece blanket from the Dollar Tree, but you can really use any kind you want. You just want to make sure it's going to be big enough to actually go around, but any receiving blanket that is kind of the normal size should work. So what I do is I open up the receiving blanket and then I roll it pretty tightly just all the way down the receiving blanket. And then we're going to be using 2 rubber bands, one on each end. We don't need one in the middle like we did with the other one.
because it's really not going to support anything. So it doesn't really need that rubber band. I'm just using two of the tiny clear rubber bands that I have. And this is actually going to be our handlebars that we're going to be using for our motorcycle. So once we have it together, we're going to pull our motorcycle back. I'm going to take out that diaper that we put in there to keep it tight. And then I'm going to push the receiving blanket right through, right in front of the one that we added to go back to the two tires. I'm then going to take another clear rubber band and I'm going to tie these two together to make our handlebars. So I'm going to tie it fairly tight down at the bottom. And then I'm going to pull the two sides out. And what I did is I put the second tie around only one side so that I could keep them separated a little bit easier. I'm going to take our sippy cup and I'm going to actually be using that as the light in the motorcycle. So what you're going to do is you're going to take the sippy cup and you're going to put it right underneath the receiving blanket and kind of tuck those little pieces around the receiving blanket, which is also going to help hold it in place. So it's another thing that helps hold everything in place without using any kind of glue or anything that would damage the blankets or the diapers themselves. It also will help a little bit to keep the two handlebars separated. You just want to kind of pull those out to the side, make sure that they're separating nicely. What you're going to put on the handlebars is you're going to put some little baby socks. So pick out some cute little baby socks and you're just going to add them right onto the ends of your handlebars. That's going to make a little place where they would, of course, be putting their hands. And it's just a cute little thing to add to your diaper cake and just gives it a nice little look. Once you're happy with the placement of your little socks, make sure that you are stretching out those little handlebars again, just to make sure that they are staying separate. And don't worry too much about the little rubber band that's showing, because what we'll do is we will just put a little pacifier right on top of that to hide the little rubber band. The next thing you're going to do is take a rubber band and you're going to go all the way around both of the tires in the back and the seat. So this is going to hold all of that together. So remember, we used paper clips earlier just to kind of hold things in place. And this is going to make it more of a piece that will stay together. So it'll be easier for you to keep everything separated and looking like a motorcycle. So once you're happy with where the rubber band is, then you can add in the headlights. So I'm going to take two of the pacifiers that I have, and I'm going to kind of tuck it underneath the rubber band. And what I'm doing is I'm just arranging it so that the little handle of the pacifier is kind of going around the rubber band. If you're worried about this falling off, you can also tape it. That will help keep it down. That really helps a lot, and it just is going to be really cute and look like headlights. Then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to add on my stuffed animal and make sure that everything is going to work very well with him. Once I have my stuffed animal in place, I'm going to take a couple of those extra roll diapers that we made and I'm going to put it in with the wheels. So, what I'm going to be doing is just putting it in the wheel, and that's going to keep everything nice and tight and keep anything from falling out. The next thing I'm going to do is take his legs and I'm going to tuck them under that receiving blanket that goes from the front to the back. And I'm going to take his hands and I'm going to rubber band them to the handlebars. So this is going to keep the handlebars separated. It's going to keep the stuffed animal in place and sitting up. And just adding a little bit of rubber bands and tucking his legs under is going to work really well. I know it's a little bit hard to see, but I'm going to put a video in here kind of going around so you can kind of see where I put everything. But this is just a nice last little step just to keep him in place. And you can, if you want to, you can take 2 bottle brushes and you can add those into the receiving blanket, and those act as little tailpipes. So that's optional. But you can see here, I'm also adding that last little pacifier in just to cover up the rubber band that we used at the end. So you can see here, that's where I tucked his little legs under the receiving blankets, and I rubber banded his 2 little arms onto the actual little handlebars and tuck that in. There's our little pacifier that hides that little rubber band. And then in the back, we have our 2 tailpipes.
All right, I hope you enjoyed that, and I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to subscribe and like, and hit the bell icon to know when we're uploading new content or going live. Thanks for watching.